Good morning to you. It's Sunday, giant morning. Oh, what a day, what a day, what a day. What a world, what a world, what a wicked world. Of course, we're heading in to play the vaunted Saints of the New Orleans. And you already have the chatter, you already have the what's the good word for it? I'm gonna move the screen up a little bit here. You also have the nuances of the fact that everyone's going to be, this is a playoffs. Oh, we got Jay Mott coming in saying joined. Mr. McCormick's going, what's up, my brother? We got Chris in his house saying also, what's going on, Tim? You got so many people talking about this game in reference to the potential NFC playoff run for the New York Football Giants. I mean, this would go a long way. You're still sitting at 5-8, and this would go a long way to maybe solidifying some type of an idea in reference to where this could play out, where the Giants could have a potential opportunity, even at 5-8, to potentially making some type of playoff push. I mean, if we want to put it that way, there are so many different things that are going on right now. Right now, the Giants at 5-8 are sitting 13th. In reference to playoff position. They are still behind the Bears, the Saints, the Falcons, the Seahawks, the Rams, the Rams and the Seahawks are both sitting at 6-7. Falcons are 6-7. Saints are at 6-7. So we would have to win today. The Bears are at 5-8. So, and right now the Packers at 6-7 are into that playoff spot. And also, we do hold the tiebreaker against the Packers because of what happened in regards to that game, that Monday night game. But for anything and also you have the Packers playing the Buccaneers tonight. The Buccaneers are sitting on the 4th seed, which is crazy to me, at 6-7 as well. It's really crazy that the Eagles at 10-3 are technically the 5th seed. I mean, it's one of those weird topsy-turvy things again that we saw a couple of years back when the Giants could potentially have made the playoffs at 6-10. There's a lot of different scenarios you have to. It's Armando. Hola. ¿Dónde está Armando, por favor? What's up, Armando? So there's so many different avenues and so many different pitchers and so many different things that would need to happen for the Giants to even consider to be playoff bound. And one of the things that would be is the fact that you were going to play both the Rams and the Saints. So you have two teams. And like I said, Giants are one game behind the Packers for the final playoff spot, but there's also like 13 other teams. And we hold the conference tiebreaker over the Bears. So, I mean, you got to look at it. You got to take a look at it with a grain of salt because, like I said, there's also the Rams, the Seahawks, the Falcons, and the Saints and the Bears are also only one game behind. So we got to kind of take this all with a grain of salt. We got Big Michael in the room going, what's up, Tim? Good morning, Sundays. Go Giants. So happy we can finally watch a meaningful game again. I don't know how meaningful it is at 5-8, my brother. I don't know. The Giants, who had bad luck in the beginning of the season, are actually having better luck at the end of the season because you're running into a lot of teams that have injury issues. Their starting offensive lineman for the Saints is out. The wide receiver is a game-time decision. You still have people like Alvin Kamara. You still have, you still got Carr. Their defense is better, I think, than the Packers. So I'm going to wait and see what happens today. Coach Dave says, I'm ready for all this hype to die down. Let things go into perspective, please, people. Here's the problem with that, Coach Dave. Even if you win today, you're going to run into a buzzsaw called the Philadelphia Eagles on Christmas Day in Philadelphia. I don't have great expectations or hope for that. Armando says, we have a great chance. Everyone has a chance. That's why they call it any given Sunday. Don't forget to hit the like button when you're in the chat. That's why they call it every given Sunday. Every given Sunday is just that phrase. The Giants have a chance, just like which is shocking to talk about. The Giants have a chance, and so do the Bears. And it's weird though because the Commanders could potentially, if they go on any type of winning streak, they could potentially have a chance. This is again one of the weirdest things that I've ever seen. You have potential division winners sitting at 6-7. I mean, that's just crazy. You have a team like the Eagles, like I said, Eagles technically are in 5th, and they're at 10-3, and the Bucks are ahead of them because they're it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't. It's like, again, it's a topsy-turvy world. You hope that Tommy Mania continues. You have
Jones to Waller, first down.
You have the Waller coming back. You have a little bit of the bloom coming off the rose a little bit for Tommy DeVito in reference to the media people. I saw some videos on Twitter and on ESPN in reference to how DeVito is missing guys, that he's not seeing guys. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand it, because Daniel Jones doesn't make the completions that DeVito makes, but you have a 25-year-old undrafted free agent from Illinois who flamed out at Syracuse, who is your starting quarterback, who's making the plays your $160 million man didn't make, but you want to do and produce videos and talk about how he's missing guys, how he's missing plays and missing opportunities. I don't get it sometimes. Yeah, and some of the plays that they showed, yes, there were men in better positions to make catches. They were against Green Bay. There were men in better areas to come up with larger gains. Yes, 100%, 1,000%. But at the end of the day, he still won the game. He still won the game. Armando also says, when we beat the Saints, we are in the hunt. Well, here's the problem. If the Packers beat Tampa, and we saw what happened with Minnesota already, and the Seahawks win or the Falcons win and the Bears win, no, we're in the hunt, but the hunt will be interesting. Because there'll still be a long way to go. David says, until we're a competitive team in our division, I have no desire to go to the playoffs. Coach Dave, I got no desire to go to the playoffs either. And I still think we're not going to make the play. I still think we're not making the playoffs. But playoffs. But I do think that it's more fun to watch the Giants with Tommy DeVito than it ever's been with Daniel Jones. Let's see. Zach says the Giants need to beat the Panthers, Eagles, and Commanders, Bucks to win. So we are out. So if okay, yeah, I've already said this before. You lose today, it's over. You lose today, and you're sitting at 5-9. The season's over. In reference to any talk or speculation about about the playoffs. Kevin says, "What's going on, Tim? Everything's good. We got the OG knockout on the house." Mr. McCormick says, "Why make the playoffs at this point when we aren't can be contenders? You need so much, including a franchise quarterback." Here's what scares the bejesus out of me, and I've said this 100 times before. I am so worried that Shane is going to look at Jones and DeVito and go, same with Daboll, go, I don't think Daboll, and go, we might have something here. That scares the bejesus. I cannot have a quarterback room of Jones and DeVito going into 2024. I'm sorry. I can't. I literally can't. I will not be able to stomach that. If the Giants played Washington instead of the Eagles, I would like our chances. I don't like playing. The Eagles are one of those teams right now that, and I can't believe we have to beat the Saints. All this is a moot point if you don't beat the Saints. Make sure you hit the like button when you hit the chat. That's what you're supposed to do. It's all a moot point unless we beat the Saints. 100%. And right now, you have, if you look at it, like I said, Minnesota had that bad loss yesterday. If Minnesota would have won, you had Detroit with the big win. You got Cleveland and the Bears. I mean, I think the Bears are gonna, like I said, you figure Atlanta's gonna win. I don't know. I don't think Cleveland's gonna. I don't think the Bears are gonna win. You got Tampa and Green Bay, and that's just a weird game right there, right off the bat. You got the Washington playing the Rams. So if the Rams win, there's a good opportunity for the Rams to win. There's a good opportunity for you figure right now Atlanta's going to win. You have to figure that it's going to be a push between Green Bay and Tampa. You figure that Rams have a good opportunity to win as well. So it's going to be interesting. And like I said, if you don't win today, it doesn't matter. There could be you don't need any speculation anymore if you don't win today. We got T1 has joined. Armando says, how do you feel about Tommy? Tommy DeVito is a great story. He is a fantastic story. And we did I think we did a really good video the other day. that broke down the one season wonders at quarterback and how you had these guys that just came in for a season and played lights out, and then all of a sudden just disappeared. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be Tommy DeVito, but the kid, he is 25 years old. At this point in time, technically, in some regards, he would be going into the mid part of his career next year. So, I mean, people are like, well, he's Brock Purdy. I don't know if he's Brock Purdy. You also don't know what Brock Purdy is, because Brock Purdy is also sitting on the 49ers. Now, what I think happened good thing happened on Monday was we didn't take any sacks. We had 0 sacks and basically he didn't create any turnovers. But I've said this before, if you're watching his progressions and you're watching his yardage, it's like any other rookie quarterback. You start high and you slowly start going down. And then people talk about his completion percentage, but then you have to remember the fact that almost 50 something yards, almost 60 yards of his 150 came on that last drive. So while the last drive was amazing and got him in field goal range, you could see defenses creeping up on some of his throws. And then you saw him miss guys that were wide open that first half. I mean, like wide open. He drops it in the bucket. It's a big play. So I'm taking Tommy DeVito for what he is. And I'm taking him for what he is. And people bring up his QBR and all that garbage. QBR means shit. How many points did you score? How often how long were you on the field? What was your time of possession? QBR is like a subjective thing almost, because it's one of those stupid stats invented by ESPN. I look at wins, I look at losses, I look at how he maintains, I look how he matriculates the ball down the field, I look how he finds his open man, I look how he puts his receiver in a position to catch the ball. He does, in some regards, what he does a lot better than Jones is he gives the receiver or the tight end and running back an opportunity to make the play, and he doesn't throw them in the contact. Now, his yards after the catch is only like 2. So, I mean, it's still not to the point where, you are having people like Wandell and create their own big plays. You need someone like Jalen Hyatt to step up. I thought Jalen would have a little bit better season than he's already having. I know he did win 2 weeks ago, the offensive rookie of the week. But the funny thing with Jalen is he's getting pushed at the line a lot. I always thought that he was a little slight of build, Hyatt is, but I also thought he was going to use his quickness to get off the ball. He's getting jammed. The biggest issue he's having right now is he's not getting past the corner. He's getting jammed at the line. If you go back into the olden days, like Lester Hayes and Mike Haynes, you watch how they used to play, how they would, and this, of course, that was a lot different in reference to the rules, but how they would jam the wide receiver at the line and get them off their route. And that's what's happening. That's what happens with Jalen a lot. We got Mr. Monday who's joined. We got Big Greg. What's up, Big Greg? We got Matthew saying, good morning, Tim and the OBB family. Chris says, pay no attention to the diarrhea mouths in the media, including that you see on ESPN. It's all clickbait. Oh, I know it's all clickbait, Chris. 100% it's all clickbait. 1,000%. I had I talked about it a while ago. I had someone emailed me from a media company, and they were like, we can help you increase your viewership on your channel. We're going to do a free diagnostics of your channel and tell you how you can increase your viewership. And I love it because one of the things that they said I needed to do was be more optimistic. Why you think something is the truth, and it's the truth, you don't have to say it. I was like, well, that's just lying. That doesn't make any sense. Big on Dave says, undrafted 25-year-old rookie, I expect him 100% to make mistakes. 1,000% to make mistakes. And like I said, I was shocked that there were people in the media, and there are people even on Twitter that were posting things like, well, look at this. He left meat on the bone here. Your other quarterback couldn't even find the dude that he threw the ball to, but you're talking about the other play he should have made when your $160 million man couldn't even make the play that he made. I tell you, the Tommy thing's going to go bad. It's going to go sideways. Maybe not today, but it's going to go sideways. And when it goes sideways, it's going to go sideways quickly because he is a rookie. You're expecting a lot of a rookie, even with Waller coming back. against a hostile environment in Minnesota. You're in a dome. So he's used to playing in that dome when he played in the Carrier Dome. They don't play in a dome in Illinois. But it's going to come back to earth. And when it does, it's going to crash ugly. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm saying that in the way of the fact that you saw what happened with Daniel Jones. You saw what happened. Daniel Jones got his contract. Daniel Jones flamed out. And all those in love with Daniel Jones just turned against him like rabid dogs. And I worry that Tommy DeVito, the same thing's going to happen to Tommy DeVito. Zach says, I think Tommy DeVito has more upside than DJ because he hit his ceiling last year. Oh, I agree. I don't think that Tommy DeVito has more upside than, I would say, 80-90% of the quarterbacks in the league. But he does have more upside than Daniel Jones because you've seen it. You've seen him stay in the pocket. I'm going to tell you this right now after watching some of the DeVito film. And like I said, I always laugh because I always tell people all this. And people are like, well, how did you know this was going to happen? I was like, because if I can figure it out, other people can figure it out. The rest of the league's going to figure it. If I can figure it out. That's why people are like, you're just so smart. No, it's just kind of basic common sense. Tommy DeVito is not going to have the running lanes that he had for Green Bay. I'm going to tell you right now, they're not going to limit their rush, but New Orleans is going to maintain their assignments. And they're going to keep someone towards the middle of the field, and they are going to close down that running lane that he got against Green Bay. Because Green Bay was over-aggressive. Green Bay was trying to get to the rookie quarterback. Green Bay didn't play it smart in reference to kind of just laying back and maintaining their assignments and holding the line while still getting pressure. And I have this feeling that what's going to happen in New Orleans is the fact that they are not going to over pursue the kid. They're going to try to keep him in the pocket. They're going to stop him from rolling out, but they're going to try to keep him in the middle of the field. And with that elongated windup, it could potentially get interesting. Big Greg says, if the Bears want Caleb, we should trade. If the Bears want Caleb and they want to get rid of Justin Fields, I would be more than happy to give them, not a second, I would give them a 3 and a 6. I will give him a 3 this year and a 6 next year. And I will take his I will take this guy that has got a 4th year on his contract and a 5th year option. And I will put him in there and get rid of Daniel Jones in 2025. If Shane thinks Shane thinks that or goes that way, I quit. I said the same thing. What's up, Sean? It has been a long time. What is the thought process of Shane? Why do people think, I'm going to rephrase this. Why do people think that if Shane's able to draft a quarterback, he's going to find a franchise quarterback? He made the assumption with Daniel Jones and failed miserably. So what is the thought process that Shane has this evaluation ability? Because you look at a lot of his picks. I mean, Banks is a beast. The jury's still out on Evan Neal. A lot of people are loving Kavon. I think I've never thought Kavon was a bust, but I also think he's also a little bit of a Marcus Golden. Having a Marcus Golden type season because he's got 7 sacks in 3 games. But what is the thought process that you think? And he talks about the fact that, well, you know what the funniest thing was? This is funny. I remember this now. Everyone thought we were going to have a great draft this year because we redid the draft room. We put up TVs. We made a big square. We had neon. You bring in neon and televisions, that means you're going to have a great draft. Hirsch for real said, what's up? We got T-Brat in his house. We got Big Chris just joined. What's up, Chris? We also have Zach Attack saying, I like having some fun, but I don't think the Giants will make it. Hey, listen, if they make it, if they win today and certain parameters happen, why not have some fun with it? Why not? If the Giants win today and some people lose and we're in a better position against Philadelphia and it's a Christmas weekend, there are Christmas miracles, why not have a little fun with it? Hell yeah. Go. If the Tommy, I hope this is my Christmas wish. I have a Christmas wish. If Tommy, my Christmas wish is that the Tommy DeVito story carries on for another week. That's my Christmas wish, that we get one more week of the Tommy DeVito story, because I want to go into the holiday season excited with the fact that potentially we could have something to talk about going into Christmas Day in Philadelphia. That's all I want. That's what I want for Christmas. Can somebody make that happen? You know what we need? Hold on. All right, boys and girls, it's time for Tim's Christmas wish. And my Christmas wish is this: that we have one more game, just one more game, Santa, of Tommy DeVito playing above and beyond expectations and understanding that there will be peace and joy on earth. That's all I want. Is that too much to ask for? The man for the masculine says right here, hey, Tim, why are we so delusional about some kind of playoff run? Not this. It doesn't feel like it either. It doesn't. But you know what? I've said this before. Just have a good time. I've said this yet last week. Let's just have fun with it. Because if it flames out, it's gonna crash and burn really bad. So, like I said, I would love to go into the Christmas week just with one more thought of a potential playoff. Sitting there at 6-8. 6-8, man. I know the league wants parity. We need parity in the league. What do we need? Knock, knock. Who's there? Parity. I don't want parity anymore. I want to go back to the 80s and the 90s. Hirsch for real says, don't want Fields. Still want to. Listen. If Shane does not go the route of someone like Jaden Daniels, I'm actually have come around to the Jaden Daniels thing. I'm still concerned that this kid looks like a twig. But maybe that'll be good for him, that they won't be able to hit him because he looks like a twig. I mean, there you go. I'm still concerned he looks like a twig, but or maybe a praying mantis. But I'm starting to come around more and more to this Jaden Daniels scenario. And if we go to that, hit the D, Yao Ming and George. I can never say George's last name. I love the. I've come around to it. What's his name? George Masuna. He cracks me up because he's in that Pepperidge Farm goldfish commercial where he takes his hand and goes, "Can I take a handful?" And he puts his big hand in there. He's like, "Oh, look, see, I took a handful." That was a great commercial. More ceiling than Yao Ming had a good ceiling. We got a big old super chat from the Cutthroat. If no changes are made, I am checking out. If we don't, I mean, listen, we got. Thank you for the super chat. If we don't, we got a super chat sound effect. Gotta get to work. That's right. That's the new super chat sound effect. I don't know. I just pushed the button. If we can't figure out something for the Giants, if the Giants can't figure out something going into 2024, if they stick with the same philosophy and they stick with the same mindset that they have something in that quarterback room, I already said it before. I don't know. I might quit. I just might be done. Here we go. Armando. I love you, Armando, but I don't go by QBRs. More New York Giants, please. If Brock Purdy was an average Avenger, he would be Hawkeye. At least the 49ers are the Avengers. I don't watch the Avengers. I don't watch the Avengers, so I don't. Hawkeye's the one guy that's Jason Bourne. I don't think Hawkeye has any superpowers. I don't watch superhero movies. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I watched the first Avenger with Captain America. That was pretty good. I did see that one, and I did see is Deathpool is that an Avenger movie? I have seen those. Let's see here. Guilty says I can take a QB room of DeVito and Jones +1 as long as Jones is a clipper holder. Number one to be either a real quarterback or a rookie. Hey-oh, there we go. That's a good one. I don't think that's Zach Attack says make sure you hit the like button. Skylines, good morning to Skyline. We also have the Admiral coming in strong. Good morning, Tim. Blessings to you and your family. Has to go right into the Giants to make the wild card, my good sir. Oh, it does. Everything's got to go right. I mean, we talked about it before. The Giants have to win. Everything to go right, the Giants have to win. The Rams have to lose to Washington, but then that's kind of puts Washington back in the playoff picture a little bit. Green Bay would have to beat Tampa. Giants, of course, would have to beat New Orleans. You would have to have Atlanta lose then to the Carolina as well. And we already know what happened in Minnesota with Minnesota. So those are the things that you would need to have happen to continue the miraculous storied run. Hirsch Real says, DeVito's a nice story. We need to draft a franchise quarterback. His name is Jalen Daniels. We might have to come up with sound effect for Jalen. Dennis Allen is a good the Saints are not a bad defensive team. Let's see here. More Giants. Yep, TD fans going to regret those wins. They want Drake May, Caleb, or Daniels. I don't want Drake May. I don't want Drake May. Drake May to me is Kenny Pickett with an arm. I would take Caleb in a heartbeat, but I think Caleb may go to the Bears. I don't know, though, because if the Bears make a playoff, the Bears, think about this, guys. The Bears, they could potentially make a playoff push as well. They are sitting there right with the Giants. If the Bears beat Cleveland, the Bears are right behind the Giants. Which is shocking because remember when the Bears didn't have any wins, and now the Bears have down they're 5-8 as well. And technically the Bears are over the Giants, but the Giants hold the tiebreaker. So I mean, hit the like. If not, I'll sing again. Dennis Allen is a good defensive coach. He is. We got Big Kevin in the house. Armando says he ran the ball on takes hits. The guy is tough. I heard Daniel Jones was tough. I heard that story too. You know what? We'll see what happens. Hirsch for real says DeVito stays in the pocket more than a pickpocket in Florence, Italy. Hey-o, we got Vinny G in his house. Yo, Tim, I think DeVito extends the plays and views the field better than Daniel Jones. I do. I agree with that. Here's my problem. Like I said, here's the issue with DeVito a little bit. It's that windup. It's the fact that I don't think he's got a major league fastball. And go back to Illinois, you go back to anything. He doesn't have, he reminds me a lot of Chad Pennington. If you want to pick a New York quarterback, he reminds me a lot of Chad Pennington. Everyone's got to stop the Jess Hostetler shit. Just because he wears 15, there are two different quarterbacks. And I don't want to. Hostetler only had. We went through Hostetler's stats. He only had a couple really good games with the Giants over like 6 years. I don't want him to be Hostetler. Sean says, "Hey Tim, it's been a while. Yeah, it has been a while. Sean, since I caught you on a live. Well, Sean, welcome back. Zach Attack says the best number 26 needs to have a huge game. I don't think he needs to have a big game. I think he needs to have a huge game. Let's see here. Armando says, I want Marvin Harrison. I don't want another wide receiver. We need a wide receiver, but here's the problem. If you don't have someone that can throw them the ball and you don't have someone that can stay upright, there's going to be an issue. If you watch Tommy's deep passes, there's way too much air under that ball. Way too much air. And like I said, it's not a knock against the kid because he's an undrafted free agent who's 3-1. Well, technically he's 3-3, but he's 3-1 right now from the last 4 games. So you got to give the kid his props. Let's see here. Victor Cruz, a top 5 Giant wide receiver of all time. Let's see. Top Giant wide receiver, Victor Cruz of all time. Oh, that's a good one. You gotta have. First of all, you gotta have Odell. You gotta have Odell up there. You gotta have Odell. You have to have Amani. You have to have Homer Jones. You got to throw in Frank Gifford as well, because Frank Gifford, after he got wrecked, went from running back to wide receiver. What's his name? Del Schaffner. You got to have Big Del up in there as well. I think if he's not a top 5, he is just below the top. He's like, you got to remember also he was more meteoric at times because of the fact that he came on the scene for a couple of years and disappeared. But you also have people like Plexico Burress. You go back to the Giants when they sucked. You had Ernest Gray. But I would take, let's see, I would take Toomer. I would take Beckham. I would probably take Plex. I would take Gifford. I would take Homer Jones, and I would take Del Schaffner over Victor Cruz. So he would be 6 on my list if I had to. Evidently Walla Waller's playing today. I mean, that's the number we got. Everyone's coming in at the wrong times. I had people coming in at 10:30 and 11. Evidently, people don't own watches, but we're gonna drop everybody in at once. We got the OGR looking very dapper, looking very pensive.
What's going on? Hey, you told me I'm coming to the time you told me to.
I'm not talking about you. I said 11.
I was told if you're on time, you're late. If you're early, you're on time. You could have just kept me in the studio. I would have waited patiently. No problem.
I'm not going to keep you in the studio. I said drop it around 11. But he's got the big
Pay the man.
26. He's got the 26. So we have T-Brad. We have OGR Sports in the house. We're going to make sure we also get to everyone. Ken Waller still. Oh, this is a good question by Armando, though. I'm going to start with OGR right off the bat. Can Waller catch the ball today?
I don't see why not. Unless Tommy DeVito, when all our quarterbacks are going to go injured and we're just going to have an emergency quarterback, I imagine he can.
Okay. That's a good answer. T-Brad, the T. You're on mute there. Can Waller be a factor today against the Saints?
I think that they really do a good job, man.
T-Brad, you got to hit the mute. You got to unmute.
I didn't even know you were talking to me. What did you say about the Saints? I'm sorry. My shit went out.
I said, can Waller make a significant contribution today against the Saints?
You know what? I'm going to go out on a limb and say yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But you got to give me a reason.
Well, he's going to be a moving quarterback. He's going to be moving around. He doesn't play 1, 2, 3, read and throw. So as things become open, as he moves around, he's going to dump to the tight end.
I like it. We also have Zach coming up with the injury report saying Dexter is questionable, Waller is questionable, Neal is doubtful, Justin Pugh is questionable as well. Let's see here. Armando says, you can't leave us. We need you. We love you, brother. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just saying if they don't draft quarterback, I think I'm going to blow. I'm going to just lose my effing mind. Daboll, and I'm going to start with OJ real quick. And I'm going to start with T-Brad because he's got the wine going and he's got some other things going. Oh, now he's frozen again. So I'm going to go back to OGR. Daboll has come out and said that he's extremely non-committal in reference to Evan Neal, in reference to him even coming back when healthy into the starting lineup. Is that something to be? He hyped the praise of Daniel Jones and other players at nauseum at times, but he's got a guy that's a top 10 pick. He is a starting right tackle, but he's basically saying I'm not committal about even playing the kid for the rest of the season.
I mean, we don't know the extent of the injury. Maybe
if he comes back from the injury.
Yeah. Non-committal to it. I mean, the line to me right now is playing its best football of the season. That's not saying much. It's still not great, but it's better than what we've had previously. And he's been a turnstile. And I would say, our right tackle now is slipping my mind right now. Tyree Phillips has been maybe below average to me. So if you're getting average play and you were getting below average play from Evan Neal, a top 10 pick, and as much as you don't want to say it or people don't want to say this, you're in the hunt, you're playing football, you're playing good, decent football, you're on 3 wins. Like, why ungel that line right now? It's that's the most time that line is started together with any sort of continuity to it. Maybe that's another reason for it. And 3, it's probably where you're trying to go with. Maybe he just don't trust him. The way Evan Neal has acted to the media and whatnot, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Maybe he's just not in favor. Maybe he's not in favor. It doesn't matter if you're a top 10 pick. Maybe he's not seeing the commitment. Maybe he's not seeing the effort from Evan Neal that he wants to see. The fight. I mean, there's a lot of reasons, but go to T-Brad, I guess.
Now, T-Brad.
I think you said it all, brother. Well, really.
Here's the thing I want to talk about. Here's the thing. This is a curious thing. How many? Just T-Brad, I'm gonna start with you. How many? 7 Neal is a turnstile. Evan Neal is terrible. Evan Neal just can't play. How many penalties do you think Evan Neal has in 460 snaps?
Wow. I don't know. 20.
5, which ranks 33rd in his position. How many sacks do you think Evan Neal is allowed in the 460 snaps?
Shit, 20.
he's allowed 2.
Right.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm looking. If we would have gone this route with Andrew Thomas did not have a good first year, did not play extremely well that second part of the year, the second season, until Will Hernandez went out. But what would have happened if we just given up so quickly and just said, oh, you know what, we're just kind of non-committal about our left tackle?
Yeah, it could have went sour. But I think again, it might be something more than football. It could be the kid's attitude. He may come in under, these younger people, they feel, they have privilege and they're entitled. I'm a pick. I'm whatever, a 6 overall pick or whatever he was. He may feel as though that's my job because they picked me so early. And maybe the coaches are trying to be like, you know what, you need to be working a little harder because you're not where we projected you to be. It could be a lot of that, but I'm hoping he's not a bust. I'm not calling him a bust yet because, like you said, with Tom's same type of situation happened, but it ain't guaranteed. He could be the next Eric Flowers.
Now here's my other thing I want to bring up to T-Bear real quick. We've never heard any speculation that he was a guy that dogs it, Evan Neal, going back to college, even in the pros, because normally you would probably hear some rumors, some rumblings, some innuendos that he's got an issue. We have heard going back to Oregon that Kavon Thibodeaux has taken plays off, has taken games off, and I honestly didn't really believe it as much as I thought it was when he came out of college. But we have seen instances where Kavon's not only taking plays off, but he's taking games off, it seems like. And then he'll have 7 sacks in 3 games. That's why I said to me, he's not a bust, but he's very Marcus Golden-esque in reference to getting a multitude of sacks in big games. But a lot of times when we need the stopper play, the big play, the play that's going to, knock the guy's dick in the dirt and we're going to end the game, we can't find Kavon. But somehow Kavon has turned the corner and has become this more, I think more because of our old buddy Carl Banks, has turned the corner and become this thing. Yeah, we all love Kavon. And I think he's kind of gone that way because of that. But if you look at it ability-wise, I think that neither of them are bust. But I also think both of them have their own warts. But I think one person is a fan favorite and another person is not. And I think that's kind of what's happening in reference to the press and to the media and to Twitter.
Well, sacks get more views than pancakes.
Yeah,
one's a little bit more highlighty, a little bit more what you watch, and then Kavon Thibodeaux is definitely a stat great. When you look at his stats and you look at sacks and everything that he has, it sounds good and it looks good on paper, but when you're looking for that effect, and it's kind of sad to compare this guy to Lawrence Taylor, but let's go less than Lawrence Taylor. Let's go, Strahan. When you have a defensive line,
Marshall.
Yeah, well, let's go with somebody who had an effect on the defense. Like Strahan, when he was on, he had an effect on the defense, and even when he wasn't on, he had an effect on the defense. And I think as old school Giants fan, that's what we're looking for Kavon Thibodeaux, to just have an effect on the defense all the time, not just when you're playing bum teams and garbage situations and taking over. We want that big play on 3rd and long against the Eagles. We want that big play on, 2nd and short against the Cowboys. We want those big plays and big moments. And he has them, but it's like it's in games we kind of already won. But we like to see it more consistent.
One of his 2 sacks game was in Seattle. He had the first sack on the first series of the game, and then he had a sack on the last series of the game. Jeff, OG, here's my question for you about Kavon. He plays well against inferior line competition, but when he actually goes up against an average line or a pretty good line, he kind of disappears. What do you think he's going to do today against the Saints and the likes of Carr?
I mean, to me, she'd probably have one of his better games. They're not exactly good. Offensively, they're not good. They have similar struggles to what we have. I mean, it all depends what the Saints' strategy is. If they're going to pound Kamara, but Kamara's not really a guy you're going to pound between the tackles, even though he can do it. It all depends on the strategy. If the Giants can stop the run, and get after the quarterback, then I think Kavon should have a good game, because I don't see the Saints having, a better line. He should have a good game today, especially when, you're in the hunt. Who lost yesterday that was big for the Giants? The Vikings lost yesterday, which is big for the Giants.
But the Vikings are still 7-7.
No, they're 6-8.
I was no, I thought they were 7-8. Aren't they 7-8?
No, I believe they're 6-8, but I could be wrong. But either way,
you told me something the other day. You were wrong, and I quoted you on it.
But either way, it's one of the teams the Giants needed to lose in front of them. So you're in the hunt. We'll see what happens. But getting back to
Vikings are 7.
He should have a good game today.
The Vikings are 7-7.
They are 7-7. Well, yeah. They need him to lose again. But it's one of the teams they need to lose, regardless. But they should have. Kavon should have a big game. Is basically what it boils down to. There's no excuse.
We got Daryl. Wait, hold on. I'm going to get that though, but I got to get to a couple. Daryl says, "Good morning, Daryl. Good morning, Chow." We also have Mark all the way from Barbados saying, "Hopefully the Giants win out. You can never root for them to lose. I don't think anyone's rooting for them to lose." We also have the Big Don dropping in the super sticker. I always love the stickers. I always love the super stickers because I don't know what they do. But ever since I was a kid, going back to grade school, I always liked having stickers on my book because you know what? That's just the way to do it. And actually, we haven't seen Big Don in a while. I think Big Don must have been working. Some people, they work and they don't. They don't just skip work for these streams. I don't understand you sometimes. We got Mr. Belford.
I'm Johnny Wishbone, psychic extraordinaire. If you need me, just think Johnny Wishbone and I come running. Lots and biddles. It's like kibbles and bits, but different. Excuse me. Sorry to bother you.
Well, that's awesome because we have Axel Foley in Beverly Hills Cop 4 coming up on Netflix. I'm actually kind of curious to see that because it looks a little grittier than what the hell they did with number 3, but we're not gonna talk about it. Douglas says, "Tim, I can't believe Tommy DeVito is next to Tom Brady." That's all I hear. T-Brad, who if you had to compare Tommy DeVito right now, who would you compare Tommy DeVito to in the league?
A basketball player.
All right, explain.
Tommy DeVito is Linsanity. That's what he is. He's having good games. He's a big part in winning the games. He's bringing his culture to the sport, Italian Americans and Italian culture, and being a New Jersey kid. And he's exciting to watch. Who doesn't want to see a hometown kid come to the team and do his thing like Vince Papali or whatever? I mean, it's a different story than Vince, but at the same time, he's energizing the fans. Like before Tommy DeVito came on and started doing what he's doing, we're like, well, the draft is like 5 months away. Hopefully by this time we'll have that. Now we're energized. I got a Giants shirt on. I'm excited about what's going to happen in this game. He's bringing us excitement. So I compare him to Linsanity. Even though the Knicks weren't good when he played, he brought excitement to Madison Square Garden. It was fun. What's the guy going to do this time?
And it's funny though because people forget Linsanity was only about a month. People have this revisionist history that he did this over an entire season. It was literally in the month of February when he had Linsanity, because then Melo came back. You had all the other players come back. Also want to thank Big Don. I say he's gifted some more memberships to the OG club here, so you can get all the videos early and everything else. I always appreciate Big Don when he digs that. He gives that. Marcus asks a question, OG. Tim, how do you feel about Brown, our assistant coach, our assistant GM? I mean, I thought when we hired him, he will take over the same approach that the Eagles did to build their roster. I wonder, does he have say in the daily operation? First of all, Rosen is the guy in Philadelphia. He was the guy that made all the decisions. He's the guy that put all that roster together. And I hate Howie Rosen. I really do. I can't stand it. I can't stand the fucking guy. I've actually met him twice. Real nice guy, but I still think he's a dick. But do you think that Mr. Brown is going to have, or do you think he's got more of a little bit more cachet here with the Giants in reference to help build this roster, or do you think all this is on Shane?
For me, I mean, you'll know that he has a say or not if other teams that are going to start looking for a GM at the end of the year, his name starts coming up as a possible GM candidate. Because if you're assistant GM and the league hears about what you've been doing under your GM and how helpful you've been, which people would know, his name's going to come up on a short list of GM candidates. That would be a big sign. I mean, I can't answer it, but that would give me a clue that, hey, maybe he is doing something to help the Giants out.
We also get the super chat here from Mr. Cutthroat, says, because this is something that T-Brad had mentioned. Guys like Strahan and Tuck motivated the defense and held them accountable when they messed up. No one on the defense does that today. Do you think? I see both you nodding your head. Do you think that? Do you think Bobby Okereke doesn't have that that say in the defense? He doesn't have that get into the guy's face. I mean, you saw the likes of Carsons and Taylor and not really Banks, but you would see players like that or Strahan. Going back even older days, like players like Sam Huff and people like that, get into the face of a player that made a mistake or repeatedly made the mistake. Do you think there's no one on this team that steps up and does that?
No one has the resume to do it. You know what I mean? Like Kavon's too young. Corey K, he just got there. You're like a vet. We get it, but you're not special like that. You coming into your own. So there's really nobody, because people respect the right words when it comes from the right person. And if I look at you as a peer, I can't look at you as a superior. You know what I mean? I'm not superior, but I can't look at you as the person who's supposed to be checking me. You my equal. So somebody may try it, but until it starts becoming consistent that this guy is a guy and it starts in practice with that person being vocal like that, we'll have to wait and see who it'll be, because there'll have to be one when we get good.
What about OGR? What about Xavier McKinney?
That's the only other person I was going to bring up. That's the only other person I could think that would have that role on this defense. But again, I mean, I haven't seen him get vocal on the sidelines with somebody or call out somebody. I haven't seen it. So I agree 100% with T-Brad. That was a good point.
We also, Mr. Esquire, coming up. Kavon is Robin to an elite pass rusher.
I'm Batman.
Will we find, Jeff? Will we find? Is this true? Is Kavon I don't want to call him a secondary pass rusher, but is he the kind of guy that needs a guy behind? He needs a one, and he could be either the 1B or the 2.
I mean, if people listen to the stream Monday, which I was on, I said it then, and I'll say it now, 100%. I think he's a secondary pass rusher. He's your Matthias Kiwanuka.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We did talk about the Matthias Kiwanuka. I forgot about that. Actually, I'm the one that brought up Matthias Kiwanuka.
I'll take credit for it.
Last for the pass.
You ain't going to take credit for shit. I did that.
Did you walk at him?
Of course I did. He took credit for something he didn't take credit for. We got Big James in his house also. Also want to
welcome back.
We got LG. I wanted to move him to the bottom because now you're number 2. You just came up in the depth chart. You are on the depth chart now. You have moved into the number 2 spot. Let's see. We got LJ. We got Big James in his house. We also have the two-toe dropping in. Going with the super chat saying massive respect to the big boss Tim, Jeff Axelfoley, and all the diehard fans in America. Slapping all them Saints losers out the freaking door. Forget about it. Oh, we also have, what do we also got around here? We got LJ going. Oh, I missed it. LJ, we missed you, man. Douglas is back. Where'd you go, Doug? You haven't been back. Joe wants to say, I think Kavon was drafted to be the guy, but he's not that. I don't want to keep talking about Kavon, but T-Brad, where do you, Jeff and I talked about this last week. He's right. We talked about it. We kind of went through the pass rushers, and we kind of went through the different giant pass rushers. Where do you compare someone like Kavon to everyone wants to talk about Bosa. Everyone wants to talk about Hutchinson, that he's better than that. Some people are saying that he's better than Parsons. Where would you put in the hierarchy of pass rushers in the league now? Where do you put Kavon Thibodeaux?
Okay, first of all, he's not as good as anybody's named. Anyone that you specifically just named, Hutchinson and Parsons and all that, he's not there. If there's a one tier, Kavon is at the end of that one tier, the beginning of that 2 tier type person, because I can't ignore his numbers.
Okay, no, you can't.
You know what I mean? I can't ignore the numbers just because I don't see something that I want to see. So I'm not going to do him like that. But I would put him either the back half of the first tier or the top half of the second tier.
Okay. Cutthroat says with the big old super chat, I'm rooting for them to lose. I want a quarterback.
Tim, here's another comparison for Kavon. Marcus Golden, to me.
Well,
Reminds me a lot of that.
Yeah, we mentioned I've said before that he's having a very much a Marcus Golden-esque season.
Yes.
Because Marcus got his sacks in bunches and then just kind of disappeared. And I think, but I do think I think Kavon plays the run better than Marcus, but I think Kavon needs to be motivated to play the run.
Well, we'll see here very shortly. I mean, the Giants, as you know, as painful as it may be, well, it's not really painful. That's not the right word for it. But as good as a feeling as it is now, you know, this is your opportunity. If you can win out, you have a chance. So
that's true.
This is where you should play your best football.
Big Don is actually stocking shelves of wine right now, listening to the G fam, and I appreciate Big Don because Big Don's been around forever, and he's, like I said, I love everybody, but you know, Big Don makes me laugh at times. We also have Big Joe saying seniority, not superior. Yeah.
Hey, what kind of white wine is that? Because I was drinking Riesling the other day. So,
well, what we have here is, I don't want to promote, but this is from Peddler's Village, brought to me by a very good person that you might know.
I don't know.
Called Grateful White. Very sweet. I would say sweeter than a Riesling.
wow.
We have not delved into the wine yet from Peddler's Village.
Oh yeah, if you like sweet wine, you're like. But they got a little bit of everything. They got sweet. They got dry. They got a spicy red, which is really good. You can have that warm if you want.
That one was recommended to my wife from your lovely wife, in reference to that. So we have it chilling right now, but we have not had the chance to partake in that yet. So,
hey, make that a celebration once the Giants win.
If the Giants win today on Monday,
Tommy D, forget about it.
We're gonna forget about it. I'll be drinking wine when the Giants win, and
he's gonna get it.
We will crack open that wine. Mr. Corn says Kavon is top 10 in sacks. That's got to count for something. No, we're not saying, Mr. McCormick, that it doesn't count for anything. T-Brad actually so eloquently put it up, and so did Jeff, that the fact that you have to look at things in perspective. You can't discount the sacks that he has. No, not whatsoever. But you also have to look at the fact that, just using the Seattle game as an example, we lost 25-0. He had one sack the first series, and he had another sack the last series. So it's in perspective where he's getting these sacks. And I have just one last thing on Kavon, Jeff. OG, I'm going to start with you real quick. I keep saying this, and I was looking at his sacks, and the majority of his sacks seem to be coming from the down lineman position. I would say almost all of them. And we've talked about this before, and I want to get T-Brad's opinion on it. We talked about this before, but do you think he's just better off playing with his hand in the dirt and just keep him there and stop trying to use him like he's a Parsons-esque type player?
I mean, they drafted him to be a weak side linebacker, so that's where they're going to play him. And I
don't also drafted Evan Neal to be a right tackle, and
he's too small to play 3-4 defensive end. So I would say unless you're going to switch to a 4-3, that where he is now is where he's going to stay. You're probably right. He probably should play with his hand in the dirt, and gain a little bit more poundage. But we're not going to be switching our formation. So where he is, where he's saying. So.
I'm gonna wait till T-Brad finishes his meal, because I was about to go to him, but I saw something. Normally I have to bring OGR in because I have to eat. So yeah, make sure you wash it down with some of that Peddler's Village wine.
Oh yes, it's a little breakfast sandwich, little wine. I do my own brunch. There we go. We bring them together.
Same question though, T. I mean, like I said, I think that Kavon should play. I should think he's a defensive end. I think he's got majority of his sacks came from the defensive end position. I think he's not going to be strong enough to hold up against the run. But if you get a good outside linebacker to pair with him at some point in time, that he'll have the abilities to learn how to maintain his edge. But where do you think Kavon's bread and butter should be? Instead of, like I said, I don't think he's a Parsons. I don't think he's a Hutchinson. I don't think you can move him around like that. Where I don't think he's a Bosa in regards to that. Where do you think where should his full-time position be?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I would depend that on who we can draft, because if you get a person who's real good to hand in the dirt, I think Kavon's beautiful on the outside, and vice versa. If you get somebody beautiful on the outside, Kavon can be crazy with his hand on the dirt. But right now, with what we have, it should be more hand in the dirt and less coverage type shit. But they have to use him for coverage because they use him for pass rush. So, it has to happen that way a little bit.
LJ says Kavon has shown big improvement. He's only 22. No, we're not saying we're not picking on Kavon. We're just being, we're just being honest the fact about what he's technically is. Jeff also says, haven't seen Dom in a while. Poppycockers must be busy this time of the year. He's that praise. Oh yeah, you know what? Because we always have our favorite munchkins sitting in there, coming in, coming out. Because you always know if there's one place that you want to go and it's the best place to go get your poppycock, there's only one place to be, and of course that is Poppycockers. And as always, for the big support of Dom, it's 2-for-1 troll night. So make sure you head out to Poppycockers, the best place to get your poppycocks. Dom's been busy with work.
We were too into the commercial.
I know. I talk to Dom almost daily, so I know he's busy at work. So, and he's got a lot of stuff going on. Of course, he's got kids. Jeff says, Peddler's Village, you're right around the corner from me. Well, Jeff, we're all, you know what, Jeff? Just email me. We love Peddler's Village. This time we're going to eat in Peddler's Village. We're not going to eat out of the taco truck. Not that the taco truck wasn't good, but we're not going to do we're not doing the taco truck again.
No.
So
we're gonna sit down like civilians.
I'm already throwing no at that one, but because that just wasn't let's see. Douglas is saying, I'm calling it now. Big game for Tibbs today. Oh, I hope everyone's right. Zach Attack says we need to thank Leonard Williams for hurting Seattle and helping us. I mean, if you look at that, yeah, Leonard Williams has killed Seattle. I mean, Seattle is now 6-7, dropped all the way in the 9th in the playoff hunt. So we're only a couple of games.
And chances are they're going to lose today. So
chances are they're going to lose today. I mean,
because the Eagles really need a win. So
they do.
This is what two straight.
This is what scares me, and I'm gonna start with you, OG. We have 4 games left, and we have the Saints, the Rams, and we play the Eagles twice. And of course, we play the Eagles on Christmas Day. And everyone always talked about the fact that Eagle game, the last game of the season in New York, it could be one of those games that we could steal because Philadelphia is probably going to rest their starters. The way this is playing out right now, they may need that game, Philadelphia. They may need that game maybe not even to take the division, but to still secure some type of home field advantage through the playoffs. This is where you say something.
Oh, okay. No, I usually kind of segue, but anyway.
Sorry, I was segueing today because I fell off the last one.
Ooh,
sorry.
But no, I
agree. Not drinking enough wine yet.
I agree 100%. The Eagles definitely need the win today, and depending on the schedule, it kind of depends what's going on with Dallas. Dallas has a harder schedule down the stretch here. So we'll see. If Dallas loses to Buffalo today, the Eagles are feeling a little bit better about their situation. So it really kind of depends between Dallas and them. I think San Fran's going to take the number 1 seed, and I think Dallas and the Eagles are fighting out for the 2nd seed.
I agree. T, same question to you. I mean, this Philadelphia game at the end of the season looks like it may be a game that the Giants may need, and maybe a game that Philadelphia needs. So, I mean, with that expectations, what are your percentages in regards to the Giants getting to the I'm a better question. What are the percentage of you think the Giants are going to be to get to this game for it to actually be something meaningful? And what do you think the opportunities would be for them to even win if the Eagles had to play their starters? And you were at the Eagle game last year when we played Philadelphia. You were there, T. So you know how bad that game was.
Playoffs. I think when we come to play the Eagles, we're not going to be able to do diddly poo. I mean, it'll be cute, some cute plays in there, but I hate the Eagles, man. But they're so dominant on both sides of the ball, and we're just figuring it out. So I'm expecting the worst out of that game. So if we win the first game, then it gets interesting because I believe we'll beat the Saints today. Write that in.
Don't get into that because we're going to talk about that in a minute.
Yeah. Okay. So because what I'm saying is, in order for that game,
he segued right into my next question. So
minds think alike.
We had to redo the depth chart. You segued into my question.
Go for it.
I got to go through a couple of these. We also have we have MK saying Earls and Peddler's Village is a must go. I like Earls. I also like Hearts a lot.
I like Earls.
And
Bowman's Tavern fan too.
Bowman's Tavern. Actually, you know, it's funny. You mentioned Bowman's Tavern, and that's all my wife and I have been talking about for like since last weekend. We're like, well, we have to go after the holiday. We have to go. We haven't go to Bowman's. We got to go to Bowman's. She's like, they got a great steak there. We got to go to Bowman's. Like,
yep. Do have a very good steak. Valets are awesome. They're always listening to good music. When you pull in.
It's always good. Matthew says, if we go 2-2 the next 4 games, how does that affect our draft position? I think we're picking 10 right now, but we're going to talk about the draft in a minute. Zach Attack said the Giants have not won in Philly since 2013. We got Christopher saying, let's go Big Blue. I'm going to the Cock and Bull. The Cock and Bull is very good as well. All the restaurants are good in Peddler's Village. Go during the light show. It's crowded as hell, and you got to park in the mud. But the holiday light show is good. And go to Hearts and get your drink to go, because they put enough alcohol in that to blind you. So that's my PSA for today.
It sounds like I need to go to this place.
Oh, Peddler's Village is awesome, man. I mean, it is a place where you just drink and eat. And
minus the 3-hour wait.
Yes, we went there for the holiday, and we went to get a table, and it was 3.5 hours for a table. And then we ran into these people into the bar, and they had already been sitting there for 2.5 hours. And it was their first date. And so I asked the young lady, I said, I assume your first date's not going too well because you've been sitting here for almost 2.5 hours. Yeah, that was bad. Greg says, this sucks. We can't upgrade our team with the skill positions because we're still looking for a quarterback and an offensive tackle regarding the draft. We also have, I think Jalen Hurts might be hurt. He doesn't seem right. I do agree with that. I think, Jeff, I think there's 2 things I think about that. That Jalen's hurt, and I think something's wrong with Josh Allen.
I don't think Jalen's hurt. I just think, you can only stay consistent for so long. Things go out of whack sometimes. And I think the Eagles are going through a rough patch, and plus their defense isn't isn't as dominant as it was last year. So I think the Eagles have taken kind of slept back. I don't think Jalen's hurt. I think Jalen's just fine. And as far as Josh Allen, you're talking about the quarterback. I don't know why.
Not the linebacker.
And Josh Allen has just not been as consistent as he needs to be, but I think the Bills will figure it out down the stretch. I know you've hinted about the Bill job and their head coach there.
And potentially the San Diego job now.
Yeah, I didn't want to bring it up on stream, but yeah, I mentioned that to you the other day.
And it's funny, though, because you mentioned that, and Jalen's on the injured report this week.
Is he?
Yeah, he has a cold. he has a cold right now.
The flu game.
OG said, Jack says, OG needs to make videos again. I agree, but he doesn't listen to me. He actually does make videos. He just doesn't post them. We're not going to talk about that because I think that's just stupid, because I think he would be awesome. Christopher says, and I'm going to remove him because I said something nice about him. Christopher says, who's getting more receiving yards today? We're going to talk about that. And the Eagles have no linebackers, says Zach Attack. We got this game, Mr. T-Brad. We got this game, of course, in New Orleans against the Saints. The Saints, to me, have a little bit better defense than Green Bay. I think their offense, if the one wide receiver doesn't play, is going to be probably a similar offense to that we played against the Packers. What is your perception right now of this game? You already said you think the Giants are going to win. Is this going to be a close game? Is this going to be a blowout game, or is this going to be something that is going to come down to the wire? What is your complete prediction besides pain for the Saints for this game for the Giants?
It'll start out tight, like 10-10, slow going, so we figure, yeah, here we go. So like 10-10, and then slowly but sure, we're just going to just wear on them because we just a tougher team than them, and I believe that. We're just a tougher team. We're gritting it out. We're winning games when we ain't got no reason to win. And we just come up. That's how we playing right now. So I think our defense is going to show out. I think Thibodeaux is going to really show out in a game like today.
Well, he is playing in the dome. He is playing on a fast track. So I do think there's a potential for that. OGR, what is your prediction? What is your thoughts and feelings about we always talk about our thoughts and our feelings because that's just kind of show we are. We are a kinder, gentler show. What are your thoughts and feelings, and using the proper pronouns for what's going to happen against the Saints.
Well, no. Anyways, so getting into it now, for me, it's about who can establish a run. I don't like to stay that cliche, but both teams give up about 130 yards on the ground on average. For me, can we stop Alvin Kamara? Obviously, Olave is injured.
Olave, we don't know. He's supposed to be a game time decision.
We'll see. Even if he is a game time decision, I don't know how much of an impact he has because if guys are a game time decision, how many times do guys come in that are game time decision and make instant impacts in the game?
Oh, more than you can count.
Yeah, but to me, I think Waller's going to have a big game. I don't know why. I think he may be on a pitch count because of the hamstring, but I think he's going to have an impact in this game. It's going to be interesting to see DeVito, but I think it's going to be a very tight game right down to the end. And I think the Giants will not kick the game-winning field goal, but have get that field goal with 6 minutes left, get the Saints to not turn the ball over. But maybe get the Saints to turn the ball over, and the Giants just kind of run out the clock. I'm interested to see if the Giants can establish the run today, or are the Saints going to slide 8 men in the box and make DeVito throw? That's going to be the interesting thing for me.
Now, I mean, with DeVito, here's the thing. DeVito's last 2 wins, whereas only 2 wins, were both at home against, I would say, I'm going to say fairly okay defenses, especially with New England, but they only won the game 10-7, and fairly okay offenses. And then his last 2 losses were against the Raiders away and Dallas away. He did have the 31-19 game against Washington, but Washington's just not a good team. They also just traded half their defense and their 2 best pass rushers. And so he does have a win on the road. Do you think, T-Brad, that there's going to be it's everything but the kitchen sink. Do you think that there is going to be any added pressure or thought process that Tommy's game may slip a little because he is playing in the dome, he is playing in a hostile environment, he is playing on the road? I mean, it's not something that I could say when he played with Syracuse, he had the advantage of the Carrier Dome, but now it's going to be reversed for him. Do you see his play dropping at all this week because of the fact that he is on the road, he is playing in a hostile environment, and he's really, we're asking a lot for this kid to do what he's been doing, but now we're going to ask him to do a lot more.
Couldn't script it any better. I think he steps up because Tommy DeVito is what he always been. Somebody who ain't even supposed to be here. And I'm starting for the Giants. He ain't going to sit up there and let the moment get away from him. He trying to win. So that means if he got to go run, slide, throw, because he seems to mess up the plays when it don't matter. But when they matter, he seems to make them. Like if he would make some of his plays, some of the basic plays earlier instead of missing and overthrowing, games would be a lot easier for us. And I think we're going to find that today because Derek Carr going to give us the ball. Who's their quarterback? Derek Carr, Jameis Winston? Who they starting?
Derek Carr is playing.
He's going to give us the ball at least twice.
I would think, OG, I would think it would be if Winston was playing, I would be more concerned about them putting up they'd get the interceptions. Because right now, Carter's only has 7 interceptions on the season. I think if you're looking over for a turnover machine, it's going to definitely be Jameis Winston because Jameis Winston, I think, throws interceptions in the parking lot while he's walking to his car. But do you think that DeVito is right now? DeVito has been the man of moments. Is this going to be a moment for him, or is this going to be a Barkley game?
I mean, honestly, I'd like it to be a Barkley game just because I want to see Barkley have that standout game, which I don't think he really has had this year. But for me, I think DeVito is pretty level-headed, and I don't see the game getting away from him. If it was somebody else, maybe. But for a rookie, he holds his composure pretty well. It'd be interesting to see. I mean, there's always a chance, I hate to say it, that, that New Orleans crowd does get in there and whatnot, and it could mess them up. I mean, everybody says the Dome is loud to play in, and when it's rocking, it's tough. But it'll be interesting. I mean, obviously the game's going to come into field position and turnovers as well. Both these teams have been very good with takeaways of late.
I was going to say, Christopher points out it's a +2 on turnovers for the defense today. That's his thought process. The Giants' pass defense is ranked 8th, and the rush defense is ranked 25th. My concern isn't Kamara running the ball. My concern is the same problem that we have had for the Giants now going on about how many years, that we cannot figure out how to cover a tight end or a running back in the middle of the field. They somehow find the opening. They somehow find that spot and just damage the Giant defense every game. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it is, it is what it is. And I get kind of concerned that Kamara is going to get out into the backfield. He's going to take a little swing pass, and he's going to get by the defense. And he's going to be in the second level before we know it.
I mean, I think it's been a little bit less this year than it has been. Like in other years, it's been more glaring. I'm not saying it's still not a weakness because not every linebacker here is good in coverage, but Okereke has definitely been better than what we've had.
And so is Tommy DeVito. The Zach Attack brings up. T-Brad's like, I'm eating my sandwich and drinking my wine. I'm happy. The Saints, Zach says, the Saints have a good pass defense. They're 5th in pass defense, but the issue has been on the ground. So a big dose of 26 is what's needed. That's kind of the point that I was going to kind of delve into a little bit. That their pass defense is not a slouch. It's not like they're gonna give. I don't think they are going to give up the big play unless someone gets behind in the secondary. And T-Brad, this is my question to you. One of the things that I think Tommy DeVito is limited in is I compare his arm strength to Chad Pennington. I don't think he's got the, when they talk about Derek May and how he can make all the Sunday throws. I think Tommy, and it was exposed a little bit against Green Bay, has issues when he's got to put it into a tight spot and has issues hitting his wide receivers in stride. Is that going to be any factor today?
Well, of course, things like that have to be. And I'm going to tell you why I feel the way I feel about the game, first of all. The reason, sidebar. Jalen Hurts just downgraded to, I don't know if he went from questionable to doubtful, but he was downgraded. So
he's got a cold. He's got the flu.
He is, in fact, injured. But the reason I think that Tommy Touchdown is going to have a good game is because they will be able to use Saquon Barkley as a decoy to open up the pass. That has to be the plan first. I know we want to run the ball, and I think Wendell Robinson is going to have a big game. He's just going to be that underneath guy in space. And that's how I think the game goes. That's how it has to go for us to win. I don't think we're going to see Jalen Hyatt just going up top unless it's all play action. So we got to use that run to set up the pass. If we go in here and run pass, we're going to lose this game.
Now, Saquon is also closing in on he's closing. Is he closing or has he already got his 5,000 yards? I forget.
I think he has it.
He has his 5,000 yards now. Yeah, he's got his 5,032 yards. So he's already reached that milestone. I do find it interesting, though, that his OGR, his receiving stats still, even with Tommy DeVito, even with him being that potential security blanket, still just aren't where they need to be. I mean, you have, if you want to always talk about Alvin Kamara as a weapon, you have a guy in Saquon who went from 91 receptions to 52 to 41 to 57 to 31. Why do you think that the Giants have, and especially at a point in time, Daniel Jones has shied away for getting the ball to Barkley in space? Where he's most dangerous.
The thing is, I mean, Daniel's always had trouble throwing that little out to Saquon.
Yeah, he has.
And then when he has hit Saquon between the numbers, Saquon's dropped it. Like, he has that. Like, Saquon it's like, to me, he's so excited about getting the ball in space that he forgets sometimes that he needs to catch the ball and then turn upfield. Like, he's had those foolish drops. So I think it's a combination of things, but it's also not having a quarterback that's going to audible at the line like Eli.
Eli would do that. Don't forget to hit the like, everyone. Let's see.
Daniel Jones would do that, but the offensive line doesn't listen.
That's true. The offensive line does. I forgot. None of it's Daniel Jones' fault. It was all in the
Ever.
because
Don't you dare give him any kind of accountability. What the hell is that?
Because according to Kafka, going against not hundreds, but 100 years of NFL history, the center calls all the line adjustments, calls all the shifts, and the quarterback's got nothing to do with it. Except you watched Eli Manning run that freaking clock down to 4. How many times? Because of the fact that he was calling the shifts. But we somehow it's like us, it's a kinder, gentler NFL. Al says if we can get some turnovers off the start, then we can have the stadium rocking the other way.
You know what, Tim? And that's what our coaching staff as well. They're a kinder, gentler coaching staff. They don't want to upset the players.
They don't want to upset the apple cart. They don't want to turn over the apple cart.
Hey, first play of the game on offense, it's got to go victory formation. Set the tone.
Set the tone.
How we're going to start the game is how we want to end the game. So we're going to start in victory formation.
T-Rad's like, I don't care if we're on the 7. We're going to take a knee just to set the tone for the first play.
Oh, no. We're going to run it.
No, it's going to be
we're going to run it. It's going to be a Joe Judge special.
Oh, the Judge special. And don't forget to hit the like button, people. Mo says, I don't want to ever see Daniel Jones again. As Zach Attack says, Eli knew how to use Saquon. We've talked about that. Oh, so the wide receiver, he is out. He is pronounced out. So that will be helpful for the Giants secondary.
That means I'm getting dropped off the stream. I was right again.
Now I'm going to let you stay on. No, you said how many times does a player say that he's a game time decision, come out and make an impact on his first play?
I just said impact in general.
That's what was told. So Daniel Jones should be on the Falcons next year. Greg says worst free agent signing ever is Daniel Jones. Let's see here. Joe says, how dare you criticize our Emperor God King Daniel Jones? Mahomes has nothing on him. Quick question. Let's start with T-Bread. Jones or Patrick Mahomes?
I'm going to go with Patrick Mahomes.
Same question, OG. Jones or Patrick Mahomes?
Mahomes.
Let's see here. Let's see. Mo says the saving grace is it's only for 2 years. Oh, the contract's only for 2 years. At the end of this game, and OGR, I'm gonna start with you. Let's take both scenarios, and don't forget to hit the like. Let's take both scenarios, and we're gonna start with the bad scenario first. If Tommy DeVito comes out, goes 6 for 15, not moving the offense, throws a pick or has a fumble. The Saints are up. We're going to half. The Saints are up 17-7. Let's say with defense gets a touchdown again. Do you bring in Tyrod Taylor?
I would, but I don't think Daboll would.
Why? Because you are technically in a playoff hunt.
You are, but I think he's put his confidence behind DeVito, and then to then second guess it, and even though it may be the correct decision to go to Tyrod, to second guess it, I just think it makes it look poor, and he's looked poor quite a few times this year, so I think he would stick with it.
Is it still second guessing it, considering the fact that he's a rookie, undrafted free agent who could have just been on a run? And Daboll came out and basically said he's going to play the hot hand.
He did say that, but again, he put his confidence. He said DeVito gives our best chance to win. Had he not put that moniker behind DeVito,
he said he gave us the best chance to win against Green Bay.
To me, that's a vote of confidence. So.
Okay. No, I agree. T, same question. Let's say Tommy Mania falls out like Beatlemania and everything the wheels just come off the bus. You're down 17-7. Let's say we get the ball in the second half. Do you trot DeVito back out, or do you bring in the OG QB and try to make something happen?
Me personally, I'm going to give him one drive. Like, yo, you got to drive to get it together. You are now playing this. You're playing the play. You're literally playing the play. And if he can't turn it around with that type of incentive on him, then he may not get it. And I got to do what's best for the team. So Tyrod, come on in here. If Tyrod coming under the same wrath, you can come back in. That's playing the hot hand, really. Because the goal, you play to win the game. Hello?
No, I agree. Zach Attacks also says Goff got better. Yes, Jared Goff did get better. Jay Fed said, sorry, folks, the Giants trade a move on from Jones in 2024. It's a $69 million cap hit. Jones is going to be back no matter what next year. He's got a dead cap number, $69 million. He's got a $22 million dead cap hit in 2025. He is back now.
He also has the best agent in all of sports.
They must, or they got pictures of the Maras or something, because I just don't get it, because I said it the day he signed that contract. I don't care what anyone tells me. They're like, what's better than the Jalen contract, Jalen Hurts contract? Well, actually, if you looked at the two contracts, Jalen is making less money the first 4 years of his deal than Jones is over the first two. But it's just one of those facts. And I said that if he implodes or he gets hurt or he plays bad, this is going to be anchored till 2025. So I still think that. I still think it's going to be what it is, but it is what it is. He's going to be back. No matter what you can say, he is going to be back. OGR, if the New York Football Giants do not make the playoffs, go into 2024 with a quarterback room of Danny DeVito, Tommy DeVito's brother, and Daniel Jones, what is your thought process on on next year? What is your thought process at all?
First off, I probably won't be joining Tim at any sort of Giants game or even preseason, because he has sold his Giants tickets.
Yes.
So that's what I definitely can guarantee you that. And I think this fan base, there's people that are going to support it. That's the thing. When it comes to Daniel Jones, this fan base is so Jekyll and Hyde. Like, it's just going to be argument after argument. This is just something that, I want it? No, but I don't trust them to draft a quarterback. I just don't.
I have my concerns about Shane drafting quarterback, because he also put his faith in Jones. T-Brad, same question. If you go into 2024 with a quarterback room of DeVito and Jones, what is your level of confidence in Shane, or just your level of confidence in the 2024 season whatsoever?
You're just talking about going into the season with that? Like, we're not even going to address it at the draft or nothing? Can I do that?
Let's just say we are going into the 2024 season. Your quarterback room is Tommy DeVito, an injured Daniel Jones, and let's just say an undrafted free agent, or let's just say a free agent.
I'm definitely going to probably have to put in a sabbatical for my fanhood for that season, because if we didn't address the quarterback position in the draft with a draft pick, or if the Bears picked one and we didn't go for Justin Fields, that's terrible. That's terrible. I don't care if we got an offensive lineman. I don't care who we got. You didn't address what's supposedly the most important position on the football team is quarterback. It's the most important position, the most high value position. That's why it's paid the most. And we're gonna go there with the bottom of the barrel? Come on.
I got a two-part question for you, Tim. First, would the Giants be foolish enough to go into the season with just DeVito and Jones, considering what happened this year? And second, is Daboll still our head coach if he knows he's going into next season with Daniel Jones and DeVito as his 1 and 2?
If you're going into the season with DeVito as your number one, and you're not drafting anyone, you're not bringing anyone in, I'm an Eagle fan. I'm gonna go be an Eagle fan. I'm taking all this Giant shit down. I'm gonna go get Harold Carmichael. I'm gonna go get Randall Cunningham, Ron Jaworski. I'm gonna get Chuck Bednarik pictures. I'm gonna put them all up around, because I'm fucking done. I've already said it. I'm done. And I do think, unless the Buffalo job opens up, I do think that Daboll is still the coach. I think there's the allure of going to the Chargers because of the duck. But I don't think he would. I don't think he would do Shane dirty like that unless it was to go back to Buffalo. Okay. That would be my process. Mo says, I want to see Tommy DeVito what he does on a fast track outside with no weather, no elements. I'm predicting he will play well. Well, I got news for you. He spent 4 years in the Carrier Dome.
Oh boy, don't say it.
He spent 4 years in the Carrier Dome playing, and he had to transfer to Illinois. So I'm not saying anything beyond that. Okay. His best season at the Carrier Dome was 19 touchdowns for the entire year. So we're not going to get into that. Mo says you have to win. You play to win the games. Where have I heard that before? Let's see here. Jones's agent is the same agent LeBron has. I did not know that. Mo also said, I hope DeVito's family is down in New Orleans today. I'm going to be honest. I'm sick of his family. I'm sick of the agent. I'm sick of all of it. I've said it before. I'm having fun with what he's doing. And I'm going to start with T-Brad on this. I'm having fun with the Tommy DeVito moments. I'm having fun with him playing well. I'm having fun with him getting the team in a chance to win. But I could do without all the other outside shit. Maybe because I'm old. But I could just T-Brad, I just don't want that. I don't want
I dig it. I dig it. They're celebrating their culture, man. It's a hometown kid.
What's
in an Italian area. I love it. I love it.
Here's the question for you, T-Brad, right now. How is this Italian culture game thing going to play if Tommy DeVito puts up 2 stinkers?
I mean, they'll support him. They be rooting for. I mean, they Giants fans. They're gonna root for him to come back. But I'm loving he's able to get out there, get his heritage, and then they're even turning like negative stereotype like mobsters into something fun. You know what I mean? It's cool.
That's what I'm saying. It's not going to be cool if he starts losing, because you are.
Hey, nobody's smiling when we're losing.
You are then going to have people then say it's a negative stereotype of all Italians are not mobsters. All Italians don't eat cutlets. All Italians don't. The same thing happened with Kennedy.
There, you know what? There is some room for that type of backlash. There is, because that's the society we live in. But I hope that people could understand that it's him doing it, and everybody's, you the quarterback, so everybody's getting there, putting the fingers up, having some fun with it. You know what I'm saying? It's no disrespect to anybody, but I think we're winning. And, if the same way everybody was doing balling, it was a song and all that. He started doing it and everybody started doing it. He didn't create it out of nowhere. He just started doing it. So I think it brings a lot of fun and excitement to the Giants. And even though we probably won't make the playoffs, it's fun to enjoy football. You know what I mean? It's fun to watch a team and at least enjoy it.
Oh no, I like I said, I don't disagree with that. Like I said, I'm old. I could just do without. I'm the guy that sat there and you had the name of Derek Jeter as the captain. His nickname. What's your nickname? The captain. You have LeBron, the franchise. You have, who do we have? Tommy Cutlets.
LeBron's the king.
Oh, that's
LeBron. That's Stevie franchise.
That's right. I'm sorry. It's Stevie franchise.
Yeah, you got to keep it respect.
Going back to the Knicks. Well, actually, the Houston Rockets. But I mean, Jeff, like I said, I have no problem with the winning. I have no problem with anything that's going on. I have an issue with the fact that this could potentially take a listen. First of all, it's already jumped the shark because Jimmy Fallon did a parody video, parody song video. So this has already jumped the shark. We already know this. How long? I mean, I hope Tommy Mania lasts the entire season.
I do too. But
I could do without all the other crap.
I get it, but this is coming from a guy that has a podcast saying, "Get off my lawn." So, I mean, it tells you everything you need to know.
Oh, I said that. Like I said, I know I'm a crotchety old guy. I know that.
But hey, I agree with T-Brad. It's fun. Am I tired of it too? I think it's overblown. But hey, it's fun. It takes the highlight off this team because we think back to a couple of weeks ago with all the Kafka and this guy and this guy and this guy. Like, it takes away from that. It takes away from the misery, and it just gives us something else to be hopeful on Sunday and something to grasp onto as Giants fans.
But doesn't winning do that?
Winning does do that, but winning and this does help.
Yeah, and we're not boring. You know what I'm saying? We're not boring. It's fun to watch us now.
See, I go to the old Marvin Harrison, Barry I was listening to Barry White, Barry Sanders thought process when they scored a touchdown. You flip the ball to the ref because you act like you've been there. That's always been my philosophy. Act like you've been there. Act like winning is winning. Act like you did it as a team. And yes, Tommy is a big part of it, but you have to remember this. You know what also is a big part of this? And I'm not thinking they're getting the respect in some regards is the defense. I mean, if the defense doesn't play like it's played the last couple of weeks, you know, we're not having the Tommy DeVito story.
I think part of it is, Tim, that this team is bought. I mean, this team is behind Tommy DeVito.
1,000.
And I think that's why you're getting the performances that you are from this team, where you were getting more inconsistent performances when Daniel Jones on this team, because I don't believe this whole team buys into Daniel Jones. They'll never say that, but actions always do speak louder than words.
Oh, I agree with that on the offense, but I don't agree with that on the defense. Because the defense's job is to get the other team off the field so the offense can come in. We have Pimp Names Like Back says the report just came out saying DeVito will be the backup to Jones no matter what next season. I think this is too early to tell about that. We don't know. T-Brad, where are we going?
Daughter has work. Got to take her to work.
Oh, I was like, where are we going? I was like, we going somewhere good? Mo says, I don't think you're as old as I am. I played hooky from church a day to watch the Giants include the Miracle in the Meadowlands. My first season was 76. I was actually at the Miracle of the Meadowlands. So my first game was Craig Morton versus the Dallas Cowboys in the opening of the Meadowlands, which we lost. But we don't want to talk about that. We got the beat Bully James saying, good morning, fellas. Let's go Big Blue. Mo says, I don't mind the T celebrations. I can't stand the first celebration. Next play, the ball can be turned over. I do have one question, and I don't understand this. And maybe one of you guys can explain it to me, because I don't understand this. Why does every defense, when they get a turnover, have to run into the opposite end zone to take a picture or do a celebration?
That started because they put a camera in that end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure that out.
Yeah,
It's kind of the thing.
So the defenses would celebrate. But go ahead, T-Bro.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing, man. Like, and sometimes you like the celebrations are too much. Like, you get hit on somebody after they gain 5 yards. Like, they gain 5 yards.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but turnover celebrations I like. So I'm all for it.
Oh, so let's see. The NFL wants to do it as well. Oh, okay. Stanley says, "Hey, panel. I think the Giants can beat the Philadelphia Eagles because they don't have a dominant defense like they did last year. Their defense is weak against the slot receiver and the tight ends." I don't disagree with that. I think Big Play Slay is having a little bit of an issue this year. He's
out for today's game too.
He's out for today's game. He also had a bad penalty called against him last week. James Bradbury sometimes gets beat like he stole something, but he's up and down. I do think there still have some issues with the linebacking core. I still think the pass rush is there, and I think the pass rush is what's going to screw up a team like the Giants in reference to that game. I'm not making any predictions on the Eagle game yet because I want to see how today plays out.
I think their defense is aging out, to be honest with you. Bradbury is not exactly a young guy. Slay's not a young guy. I know they still have some of the old heads that were there before, and they've kind of been reserved to somewhat of a, pass rush specialist role. Like Cox isn't playing as many snaps as he used to. So I think that's part of the problem with the Eagles as well.
All right, great. Wolfie says, what does Wolfie have to say? Tim, thoughts on Penix and McCarthy? I like both of these guys that could be in the Giants striking zone for quarterback. Don't want Bo Nix. You know what's funny? I actually like Bo Nix over McCarthy.
Same here.
I think Penix is going to go in the first round, and I think he's going to go latter half of the first round. I think he's going to go somewhere between like 15 and 20. I think the Penix's biggest issue is the injuries, his size in reference to his weight, and his wonky kind of – we talked about the wonky windup. And I hope people just don't try to I hope people, they don't, like I said, I always hate when someone comes in the league and all of a sudden we're going to change his throwing motion. Yeah, he's probably been throwing like that since Pop Warner. And I always say, what would happen if Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid says, no, you really can't do that sidearm thing. You can't do that 3/4 thing. You can't do that shovel pass thing. You got to go over the top regular throwing. You can't do any of that shit. I know OGR, you just had a moment though, but you just kind of had so who would you thoughts on Penix, McCarthy, and Nix?
Penix, McCarthy, and Nix. McCarthy, I don't know. To me, at Michigan, it almost seems like he's a system guy. I wouldn't make the same argument for either Nix and or Penix. Bo Nix to me is the best athlete out of all of them. I just think I don't see him how much better he's going to be. I think a lot of people would look good going from the SEC where he struggled with Auburn and then going over to Oregon. Not a lot of great defenses, and that open offense that Oregon plays really helps him. And then Michael Penix Jr., I don't know. I'm not as high on him as everybody else is. I really am not. I wasn't impressed with him at, I believe, Indiana, even though he did beat my Penn State Nittany Lions on a game-winning drive. But I see what everybody likes about him. But again, it's the Pac-10, and I have no respect for the Pac-10. So that's when people point out Pac-10 quarterbacks, my ears perk up, and I'm like, I got to see when they get to the NFL.
T-Brad, same question. Thought process on Penix, McCarthy, and Bo Nix.
For me, I'm a big fan of Michael Penix Jr. I think he's shown a lot of grit this year. He's been in a lot of big games and big moments, and he's stood out. As far as McCarthy, I think he's got the tools, but he could be the next Daniel Jones as well. When I get rough on McCarthy, it's like he doesn't have the numbers. He doesn't have the big plays over the top a lot, unless it's off like a play action or something. So, but I also take it with a grain of salt because he doesn't have any top receivers at Michigan. Just still making it happen, but don't have any top speedsters like that. And Bo Nix he also gives me Daniel Jones vibes, but he's played so good. It's like you can't ignore the play.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
He's not the quarterback we saw early in his career. Bo Nix, that is.
Oh, you can't ignore the play. But people get nervous. For me, if we can't get the top guys, and if the Bears take a quarterback, just give me Justin Fields. That's my game plan. Let me keep my first, get Justin Fields, and maybe grab Malik Neighbors. Let's get this offense going.
Let's get the. We also have Big James coming in and said our defense wastes 5 minutes running down the field to celebrate. Then Jones comes out first place, fumbles it right back, and the defense has to run back down the field again. We are 11:37 right now. We are going to go into we haven't done it in a couple weeks now. We're going to go into guess the score and win the Eli Manning replica Super Bowl ring. And I'm also throwing in 6 months of free Mint Mobile service. You're going to get 6 free months of unlimited wireless text messages and 15 gigs a month of service. 15 gigs a month of internet service along with that as well. So guess your score right now to win the Eli Manning replica Super Bowl ring and 6 months of free Mint Mobile service. That's unlimited talk, text with the nation's fastest 5G network and all that fun stuff. It includes 15 gigs of internet per month. So make sure you drop your score in. OGR, we already know who you thought was going to win, but what is your score prediction?
17-14 Giants.
17-14 Giants. T-Brad, what is your score prediction as well?
Just do 20.
Probably because it's a debit, right?
Yeah, just do 20.
You want to do okay. We got Wolfie coming in. That's coming at 24-17. Says the Giants are going to win. We got Zack Attack also dropping in. Giants 21-16. DeVito 20 for 24, 175 and a touchdown. Big Blue Forever coming in 24-13. G-Man. We also have Jeff Newman coming in going 23-19 Giants. I am going to give my score. I have to sit up for it. Oh, we got the Irish Rover in his house. What's up, my brother? We got the Irish Rover coming in 21-14. But you made a mistake there, Mr. Rover. You didn't tell us who's going to win. We got Chris coming in 23-10 Saints. We also have Sky coming in 24-10 Giants, I'm guessing. We got Zack Attack coming in with the baseball scored 5-3. We got Jaws a bit outside, tried the corner and missed. We got the baseball score coming in as well. We got Beat Bully James coming in 24-17 G-Man. We got a lot of people coming in. G-Man wise, someone asked me the other day if 2 people guess the same score, yes, everyone will still get a replica Super Bowl ring and 6 free months of Mint Mobile service. So don't worry about if you have duplicate scores. I am saying this. Should I type my score in?
Yes.
I'm going to type my score in. I'm such a fast typer. Online Big Blue has put his score in. I am going right now. We also got Irish Rover coming at 21-14 Giants. Smith's on the move is 24-16 G-Men. We got Online Big Blue coming in 35-17 G-Men.
Wow. I expected you to go. I expected you. You usually do the opposite of everybody else. So
I usually do the opposite, but I'm going to tell you this right now. I said this before. I think DeVito Mania is going to have one more showing. Like Beatlemania, sometimes you had 3 shows a night. Like Elvis used to do in Vegas, you had 3 shows a day. I think we're going to get one more show out of Tommy DeVito in the Dome. I don't think the Carrier Dome jinx is going to be there for him. I also don't think, someone put they have like, I think he's going to have like 150, 170 in reference to yards. I think he'll have 2 touchdowns, but I also do think he's going to have 2 interceptions. But I think the defense is going to come up big. And I think Saquon Barkley in the Dome, having that opportunity to not worry about the weather, to run and free to open space, I think he is going to have a huge game. I think Barkley's going to run at least for 125 and at least 2 touchdowns. We're going to get a vintage Barkley moment. And I think combined with a little bit of DeVito, you're going to get a little bit of DeVito and a lot of Barkley.
I got another question for you. Is there a defensive, because you said a touchdown for DeVito, 2 touchdowns for Barkley, so that's 21.
Yep.
Are we getting a defensive touchdown somewhere? All right.
Yes, we're getting another defensive touchdown. There is going to be a Carr fumble, and he's going to fumble at the Giants 2. And Kavon Thibodeaux is going to run it back 98 yards.
I was hoping you'd go DJ Davidson to make it a little less unlikely.
Hey, listen, I'm going with the big Kavon run, because it'll be the only play he makes all day, and I will have to hear how he only had 1 tackle and it was an assist, and he had the big touchdown run.
Athleticism, Tim. Athleticism.
It's athleticism. We got Dale Smith coming in 24-17 G-Man. Irish River says, hello, I can't see it. I hope you saw, but nah. Smith said, yes, Waller is back today. So that's always good. Let's see. Beat the Bully James says, defensive score. There's going to be a defensive score. Irish River says, there's the Tim I know. I'm telling you guys, don't forget to drop your score. We're going to do this for 3 more minutes. Win your Eli Manning replica Super Bowl ring. It's a real nice ring. I don't have it anywhere.
So, Tim, do you mind if I pull the chat real quick?
Go ahead, pull the chat.
For my own personal things. So, guys, I play fantasy football.
Yeah, he went fantasy football. Sorry.
Is that what happens?
You either go soccer, fantasy football, anything Kardashian, anything on those lines, you automatically get kicked out.
I figured as much. I was going to say Schultz or Waller. Who do you guys start today?
Schultz or Waller? OGR wants to know, as you're putting in the score, who is going to be Schultz or Waller today? So we make sure we hit it. Zach Attack says, hit that like button. Whiffy says, Tim and all Kavon is a big conflict in the fan base. What are your guys' thought on him? I think we talked about that.
Yeah, we covered that at length.
We covered about that. I think we've said it best that he's kind of like a Marcus Golden. So Daryl Smith says you're going to have to put in Schultz. Looking forward to a good game today. Wolfie says you don't count the Jenners as Kardashians. I don't know what that means.
Oh.
What does that mean?
Think about it.
Okay, I'm thinking about it.
Bruce Jenner, you don't count him as a Kardashian.
But I thought it was Robert Kardashian.
Yeah, well.
I'm confused.
All right.
Isn't their dad Robert Kardashian?
It is.
Okay. So why would Bruce Jenner have anything to do with that?
Think about it.
I'm thinking about it. Not going anywhere. The brain's not going anywhere. T. Rogers is not a second. What the fuck are we talking about here? I don't know. Schultz is the guy. We got a timeout.
He must have meant to time me out.
I guess he does that from time to time. Yeah. Puts himself on timeout and just sees what are we going to do? Are we going to fold here in the moment?
I think I've set a record today, T. Brad.
Yeah.
Four times in one stream. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah. But I think we're going to win. Funny thing is he took my score, so I'm going to change mine to 28-17. 35-17 was my original score because, like I told you, it's going to be tight for a little while. Then we're going to wear down on them. Defense is going to get a couple turnovers.
So do you have
Good game for us.
special teams touchdown? Because I really want to say somebody sees a kick return or a punt return. I haven't seen a Giants kick return or punt return. I can't remember the last one.
Watch out, slow.
And Bruce Jenner was married to Kim Kardashian. I Googled it. So now I get it. I thought it was Caitlyn Jenner. And thank you, guys.
Oh, that must be where he went.
I had to Google the whole Kardashian thing. But Zach Attack was right on the ball as always. You're wearing the wrong jersey. Big Blue is wearing white today. Oh, T-Brad, you're right. T-Brad, you're jinxing us, man.
I promise you I have nothing to do with the outcome of the victory today.
We're wearing Jeff says Tim was self-wonking. I was self-wonking. Did anyone else have any score predictions to put in the chat? Because we want to make sure everyone gets their score predictions in. We also want to make sure you hit the like button. I don't know how many likes we have. Zach Attack usually always tells me. There will be probably no stream. The Giants play on Christmas Day. So there's going to be no stream. I'm not streaming on Christmas Day. That's just ludicrous.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely right.
What?
Yeah, I just
what? I had a whole Christmas outfit all picked out for the Christmas stream. Now we got nothing.
Well, you know what? Then we're gonna have to do it Sunday.
You can still wear your ugly Christmas sweater.
We will. That's it. Sunday, since they're playing Monday, we'll still have the Sunday stream. Jeff, T. Brad, James Williams, whoever else wants to come on. You are Coach Dave. I don't know if you're still in the chat. Whoever else wants to come on Sunday. Holiday Best. It's the Holiday Best online Big Blue Christmas party extravaganza stream on Sunday. If you're not dressed in your Christmas best, don't bother showing up.
Oh, God. So
I'm in.
You two are open invited. James, if you're in the chat, you're invited. Of course, with Coach Dave, you're invited. LJ, if you want to stop in, you're invited. Whoever, all the regulars, if you're out there, Christmas party. Online Big Blue, 10 a.m. Christmas art party next Sunday. You have to be holiday dressed.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. Is that Christmas Eve?
That's Christmas Eve.
God damn it.
10 a.m.
Yeah, Christmas Eve is when me and my family do everything. But let's see. I mean, I might be able to start at 12. We go get the tree Christmas Eve. We do everything Christmas Eve.
But the stream starts at 10.
At 10 in the morning. But
10 in the morning.
Yeah, we're out running, but I think I'll make it.
You'll make it. Because it's not going to be a long. It's not going to be a long stream because we've said it before. My wife's Puerto Rican and Native American. I don't want to be stabbed and scalped by doing that on Christmas Eve. So I'm gonna avoid that as much as possible. But we will do it from like maybe 30, 40 minutes. But we are going to do it. So I want everyone to hang in. As always, this is the end of the show. And we always have the final thoughts. I'm going to let T-Brad go first because he's driving. T-Brad.
No, my daughter's driving. I'm not driving.
Oh,
you guys give me way too much credit to be holding my phone and driving. I'm not driving.
I thought you had it. I thought you had it on the thing. Well, we're still going to let you go first.
Yeah, that's cool.
What is your final thought? What is your final process? What is your I mean, like I said, we always give everyone the final thought, the final moment. What is the T-Brad final moment for Sunday? An hour or so before the New York Giants game.
What I'm just most happy about, I know Thanksgiving passed and all that. I'm just thankful that so many Daniel Jones fans' eyes are open. And we weren't able to get them all out of that Daniel Jones cult, but we pulled a few out. You know what I mean? And I feel good about that. You know, they're starting to see that. Yeah, the offensive line is bad, but you could be playing a lot better for $40 million a year. So the fact that I don't have to have as many of those arguments leaves me confident that 2024 we'll see a new quarterback in some way, shape, or form in there. So that's my thought.
T-Brad is confident on the quarterback situation. OGR, you know, I always leave you for the last final thought because I always like to build up this final thought, build up this moment that you are going to give us something magical, that you are going to give us something that is going to be life-changing, that is going to be something that is just going to be remembered and carry us through this game and all the way to Monday. And then normally you come up with a fantasy football question. What is your final thought?
My final thought is, Tim, Why do you play me up so much? It almost seems like you play me up so I can disappoint.
Never. You build expectations. You want to know why? You want to know why you build expectations?
Why?
Because there is expectations.
All right. Well, there is expectations. Okay. So first off, what I want to see is a vintage Saquon Barkley, put a stamp on it game, 120, 130, 2 touchdowns. Hell, let's throw 50 receiving yards on top of that. That's what I want to see out of this game. I think that, when's the last time you saw it? Now, he's been good this year, but I want that vintage Barkley, 30-yard rush, breaks away. There's no doubt about it. He's giving the peace sign to the end zone. And to me, I still don't trust John Mara. So I'm glad T-Brad does, because that man puts his sticky fingers where they don't belong, my friend. The fact that you have that much confidence in us drafting quarterback, to me, I'm 50-50. I'm 50-50 at best.
Whether we draft one or trade for Justin Fields, there's going to be a change.
I hope
he can't ignore it. He can't ignore it. This is it.
You can't ignore the change. We got a Saint fan here saying, feeling nervous about today's game for the Saints. We need to win because we are in a 3-way tie for the first in the NFC South. We also route Oliveira, who is arguably our best wide receiver. I've already predicted a Carson's. I'm saying 35-17 G-Men. And I'm thinking this is going to be a bad game for you guys. I do think to the point that you do have a pretty not vaunted, but a very venerable pass defense, which is currently ranked 5th in the league. I do think you have an opportunity with Carr and Kamara to potentially matriculate the ball down the field against the Giants defense, especially if you can get Kamara into the second level. I think it's going to be one of those games, though, that I'm hoping as a Giant perspective that it's just going to go downhill for you guys. And like I said, I have no other reason or rationale to go with that besides the fact that I'm doing a fan pick right now. So, I mean, it's sometimes you have that moment when you have the fan pick. We also have Walter coming in with the 28-19 G-Men. He had that pick in as well. Let's see. Hope all as well to James Williams. Irish Rover also says Barkley will be hungry today. Feed him the ball. I do think the Giants are going to run it down their throats. And as always, on that special note, we are clicking in, we're clicking out because it's time to get ready for the Giants. We're an hour and 8 minutes away. I want to thank T-Brad. I want to thank OGR for coming and stopping by. This is Tim, this New York Giants Straight Down, powered by Online Big Blue LLC. And as always, guys, you know it. We are out of here.